喂，我哋今次咧見到 Vitus 嘅老闆係啦嚟咗上海，咁所以咧我就捉住佢咧就同大家去介紹下佢而家最新嘅型號啦，同埋咧嚟緊個大方向係點樣啦。Okay, let's go.
Okay. Introduce your new product.
Yep. Yeah.
So the products that we have here, starting from the digital side, is the masterpiece DAC, the MPD 201, which is this one down here, taking signal directly from the in-ears statement server. Then next to it we have the masterpiece line stage. So actually the power supply is here on the top, and the preamp in itself is the chassis below, and we separate these two for noise, obviously. So the mains as far away from the signal as possible. And then on the side we have the signature mono amp, the SM103. This is a 100 watt Class A amplifier. You can switch in AB as well, fully balanced from input to output. Inside there's a 2.2 kilowatt transformer.
Yeah.
So it can drive any speaker, and of course with the Avantgardes that's a pretty easy load. So we don't even use 10th or 5% of the power capabilities of the amplifier. This is the silver finish. This is our normal finish, one of the standard finishes. We also do black that we don't have here. We also do a variety of different colors, like orange, not quite as orange as this one over there, but similar. Titanium orange, we call it. We also do a plain titanium. We do white, different colors, and you can have bespoke color if you so choose. There are some limitations. Some car manufacturers will not allow anyone to use their colors, but that is what it is. Actually, over here we have a product from the reference years as well. This is our integrated amplifier, the RI101 Mark II. This product was actually in its original state released more than 10 years ago. So this is the third generation. This also has a DAC streamer built in, which is optional. Now also Roon certified, but supports Tidal, Cubus, all of it. I'm not this big streaming guy. I'm still the analog guy, so I'm not the expert on that part. So that's basically our three lines of products are shown here. Reference line is our entry level. Signature series is the middle line, and then we have Masterpiece, which is our top line. So that's how it's been for so many years that I don't even remember when we introduced the last years, but it's probably plus 10 years ago. Okay. One thing which is a little bit special with how we do things in terms of product releases is that we don't have a new product every second year. So we have a new product every 8th year. And then in between, if we have technology that, new technology which we think elevated the sound enough, we will introduce a Mark II version of product. Like this one is the RI101 Mark II. So that happens every 4th year. So that's kind of our standard way of doing it. We don't always stick to it, but that's kind of the standard. Okay. The background behind the products, this year is actually our 20th anniversary year. The first time we really went to an international show was CES 2004. But prior to that, I did almost 9 years of R&D. So if you go all the way back, actually, we're 29 years old at this point. So we're not a new brand anymore. We also, 2 years ago, started a generation shift. So I'm not the full owner of the company anymore. I still own a majority, but our son took over a portion of the company, and also one of our long-term employees. So they own 50% now, and our son is running the company. He's only 31, and then our long-term employee, he was with us for more than 10 years. He's only 26 years old, so he started really early. They're actually at Expona right now, which is why they couldn't be here. So we did this for multiple reasons, but also because I wanted to go, mainly because I wanted to go back to R&D and really focus on that. But also the next generation now is already in place. So the company and the brands are secured for many, many years to come, even when I want to retire. If that ever happens, who knows?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a little bit of background as well. We're obviously based in Denmark. Biggest, how to explain that? The biggest keyword for us really is quality. Everything we do is we always think about quality. So from a PCB level, all the population of the boards we do in-house. So we invested more than 1 million euro in machines just for populating the boards, so we can always get the best possible quality. Because when we do thick copper layers, we do thicker board. We're the average or the norm. But normally the glass fiber is 1.6 millimeters, right? We use 2 millimeters minimum. And then you have the copper layers are either 35 micrometers or 70 micrometers. That's kind of the standard. And normally when you have let's say a 4-layer board, then you might have 70 micrometers on the 2 outer layers, but then you have 35 on the inner layers. When we, for a phono stage, for instance, use 70 micrometers, we use 70 micrometers on all 4 layers, or all 6 layers, all 8 layers, depending on how many layers we need. And on the power amplifiers, we use either 105 micrometers or 140 micrometers on all layers. And so the boards become quite thick. Yeah, and so just to give one example where, the whole quality thing comes in, when you have this thickness of copper and thickness of the board, the soldering profile has to be specific to that, because, you transfer the heat away much faster. Easily. Yes, so you need to have specific soldering profiles for that.
Maybe need a human to point by point to make
well, we use a lot of SMD, and the other key word for us is repeatability. So we want serial number 1 and serial number whatever to be as close to exactly the same as possible. So we prefer machines to do that because of that specific thing. But when you have the thicker copper layers, you need different soldering profile to actually be sure that you have a good soldering. And the standard type of subcontractor for that, they don't like that.
They are doing some generic product, so they don't think why you make a very thick copper. Why?
Yeah, why? It's stupid.
We understand. We understand.
So that's exactly why we did. That's one of the reasons why we chose to do it in-house, because then we can tweak.
No one understand what we are.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, quality and repeatability in everything we do it's super, super important. And it's not only on the electronics; it's on the mechanicals. I actually now in my R&D department, I got a smaller CNC machine, so I can actually educate myself on some of the challenges there is with manufacturing mechanical parts, so that I can design smarter parts. Because if I don't understand how the guy who's in front of the CNC machine producing it, what challenges he have, how can I take that into account when I'm designing the parts? So it's full circle, as we call it. I need to understand what's going on out here so I can design better parts here. But it's just the mindset of what we do.
Much more fun.
Yes, also that. So when I'm bored at designing, I can always go and play with the machine. So yeah, it's a cool toy, but it's not really a toy. But sometimes I make funny things in there just to see what the machine can and cannot do. So yeah, it's how the whole company thinks. Obviously, I started the company, so my DNA is all over it. In that terms of thought process, and it's probably one of the areas where we differentiate from lots of others because of that exact way of thinking. As another example, Lucas, who's the 26-year-old, he's running the factory since 2020. So for 4 years now, he was the guy who was responsible for everything in the factory. He's also responsible for service, because when you deal with highly integrated products like these has lots of components. I mean, 10,000 components, something in this particular product. You will have component failures from time to time, but maybe there's also the soldering profile, or maybe the placement or the way the PCB was laid out can give some problems. And so when he's also responsible for the service department, he will see if there's some fault that is the same place all the time. And then he can go back and we can discuss whether is there something in the copper layout that is not really good in terms of how we can solder it. So we can tweak these things. This is one of the really, really huge benefits of doing all these things in-house, because we can turn around these things very quickly. Also in terms of prototyping, for new products, we can do it really fast. So yeah, that's just a quick introduction to some of the things that we do that maybe isn't completely normal for this typical size of business. Super heavy investments, and we actually, these production line that we have for boards is actually, I think this year it's 10 years old. So it's not something we just did, it's something we did a long, long time ago, but constantly improving and upgrading.
So